Yeah, that's good.
Why are you clapping?
That's
It's
good.
really
It's syncing up the audio.
I mean, we're not using.
All right, and we're live. We're rolling.
Took a U-Haul down to LA, filled with product.
Yeah.
Posted up at a hotel for a week. Had people coming through, trapping out the hotel room.
And this was during coronavirus. How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Bro, these are some.
Were you staying 6 feet away from all the people that we were selling to?
There was this pizzeria inside the hotel that kicked us out because we weren't wearing masks. I was wearing a shirt covering my face. I then proceeded to it. Maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I reported them on the LA County Health thing as being in violation themselves of the corona.
So what product were you selling in the?
Man, I'm not gonna tell.
You can't say what the product is. That's the most interesting part. All right. So your first trip to LA.
That was the first trip, but then I went to Chicago and I was out in Chicago, and I got this call and someone's like, "Look, was it fucking No, Billings, Montana. You gotta go to Billings, Montana. There is a location there that has tons of product. Because this is a product that's very limited, hard to obtain. So I spent a little while figuring out where the next flight was. The next flight to Billings, fucking Montana. Flew on this tiny little prop plane to... Where was it? Helena? Oh no, they told me I pronounced it wrong. I don't know how to fucking pronounce it. All those cities in Montana kind of seem the same, except for Kalispell. Kalispell's an amazing city. We got on this plane. It was very turbulent. We got there. Me and my partner, who was gonna be the driver.
Where'd you meet your partner at? Was he with you?
He was on the small plane, but we were seated separately, and it was kind of I didn't tell him I was gonna be on that plane. I was kind of testing him a little bit.
Okay.
So I had arranged all the travel for him, and he didn't really know any of the details. And we get there to this airport, and they had the army set up. The location, we had to get this truck. Most people choose U-Haul, but Penske is really the superior service. We literally walked from the airport across these train tracks, through all these bushes, and there was all sorts of shit. And we roll up at this self-storage place, sign all the paperwork, we get the truck. Hop on this truck, it's 2 hours to Billings, and we get to Billings, we get to the Walmart, and I get in there, and they tell me that maybe an hour or two earlier, someone else who had this exact same information as me, shown up and took all the product. It was kind of a fucked moment because 15 minutes earlier when I was in the Burger King enjoying an Impossible Whopper, which is fucking amazing, I was not thinking, you know what, someone's probably going to get here before me. I was thinking, well, I'm the only one that has this information. I was leisurely eating my Whopper, not even knowing that someone was actively there at the location, getting the product. Once I got back to the truck, I'm like, this is just fucked, bro. What do I do now? This was the location. Went to Great Falls, Montana, which is a fucking weird little city. Way too many water slides for a place in the middle of fucking Montana. And then we just we drove around Montana for a bit, Idaho. We went to this place in northeast Washington, the very northeast corner. And it's this untapped valley. It's kind of you don't expect these places to exist in America. It almost has a very European feel about it, in that very bucolic and rural kind of setting. And you have these towns where Corona, they never even heard of it. You look outside, there's a farmer's market going on. It was just fucking vibe. But that's beyond the point. That location actually was one of the best locations for this product, and I was able to acquire quite a lot. Kind of 2-in-1 deal. Found a beautiful place, untapped potential. Johnny, you ready though? Yeah.
I want to clap yours. So you ready?
Oh, fuck me, that hurt. What the fuck is that?
Sit up more. We're rolling.
Real shit.
Oh, let me silence my cell phone. Where the fuck did I just put it? Dude, I don't like sitting up. Hold up.
Okay.
I'm not really sure where my fascination with Vegas started, but it's a very ephemeral city in that, like, I would never want to live there, although sometimes I thought that I would want to live there. Because it's very much a city that you go to for a weekend, or, I mean, even a week would seem like a lot. I had a layover there, and I left the airport, went to one of my favorite restaurants, the MGM Grand Joel Robuchon, which is absolutely one of the best restaurants on, like, in the U.S., I would say. And so I have this love for Vegas that, like, I think it started. I was on this road trip with my father, and we went there. We, like, passed through there, and we stayed at this very grand. It wasn't even a casino. It was just this hotel that I remember for some reason they bring a free cupcake, and I was like, that's some, like, next level service. Like, I'm a kid. I love cupcakes. This is insane. Like, no other hotel I've ever been to, they just bring you a free cupcake. So it was like, that was like the first experience of, like, okay, hospitality, that's what this city's all about. But it's I don't know, I've never really been anywhere except for the Strip in Vegas. But, like, the Strip, I guess, is more what I'd say that I have this kind of fascination for, just the culture that surrounds it. And after that, I went back there again with my father, but then I started going by myself. One of, like, the very, like, extensive kind of vacations there, I went there for spring break when I was 17. So I got a room there, and I just had, like, you know, getting the room there at this casino was probably, like, the hardest part, you know, like, 21, everything's 21, I was, like, 17. I really had to do some finessing to get that to work. But once I had this hotel room secured, it was just like, okay, what do I do now? So I go, and there's so many buffets in Vegas, like, every place has a buffet there. But there's one buffet that I think is probably the best buffet in the world. It's at the Caesar's Palace. It's called Bacchanal Buffet. I'm probably Bacchanal Buffet. I'm not saying that right, but, like, absolutely just fucking amazing. Like, you could not find a better buffet anywhere in the world, is probably my belief. Like, maybe like $500,000 building the place. I believe reading the number, they spent like $300 million just on renovating it. So it must have been around that cost. And just, like, it really is just this paradise of food. There's one main kind of line that all the food is on, or obviously there's, like, all the stations along this long table on one end of the room, this massive room filled to the brim with, like, you know, seating. But even with that, it takes forever to get in. It usually takes, like, you know, an hour or two you have to wait. And once you get inside it, you go in there and they give you the table, and then you're just, like, free exploring. Along one side of the room, they have this long, buffet. And it stretches for maybe, like, I don't know, a few hundred feet. You can just walk along, and I actually remember, like, taking a video, just walking along the length of it. And it's really probably has some, like, the biggest selection of food I've ever seen at a buffet. But apart from that, all the dishes are just fucking amazing. So that's what I did on, like, the first night I was there. Because I was at Caesar's Palace, I kind of started exploring. I loved walking around. Walking around the Strip at night is, like, there's nothing more magical. Because it's, like, this lively place it was Easter weekend, actually. It was a spring break. But it was like a weekdays. So the Strip kind of dies down. It's like, it's not like New York or, like, Times Square where it's very alive. You're very much in this muted kind of version of the city at, like, you know, anywhere from, like, 2 to, like, 5 a.m. You just walk along the Strip and you find certain things. You're like, that was one of my favorite activities, was strolling along the Strip. With how many casinos there are in Vegas, it's a very superstitious city. Like, obviously, like, everybody loves luck.
I got the fucking
With how much luck and everything,
dunks.
everybody's trying to increase their luck, which is why I believe there's this Buddhist temple thing outside Caesar's palace. I'm not really sure what it is. I remember reading the plaque, but it was like some gift from someone. There's this big golden statue of Buddha. I could be wrong. I could be misremembering this. I was kind of drunk every time I went there, but I went there like every night. Even right before I left, I almost missed my flight because I went there. They have these boxes. They have the golden Buddha thing, and they have this fence around it, this metal fence, like a very small fence though. And attached to the fence, there are boxes filled with incense sticks. And you take one, you kind of just like light it up, and you just kind of like, you know, make some prayers or something. Or I assume. That's what I was doing, that's what everybody else was doing that found it. But it's kind of like an obscure little thing in the landscape architecture of Caesar's Palace. It's a bit of a hidden secret, I would assume. With how many people I saw there and that sort of stuff. But the strip has lots of secrets. I kind of lost my train of thought.
Why don't you just wrap it up with like a moral of the story?
Oh no.
What's a
moral of the story is there's a Taco Bell that serves alcoholic slushes. And you have to like pay money to put shots into it. They have like Bacardi and they have like Grey Goose and shit. And it's kind of expensive. They don't really put that much in it. So what I ended up doing is I would go to the Walgreens directly next to it, literally the next store next to it. You go to the front counter. Behind the counter, they have a big old case full, all the cigs and all the mini bottles of liquor. So I got 2 mini bottles of Bacardi, went over, got my normal slush next to a trash can, popped the bottles open, put the shit in myself. More bang for your buck. There was a guy that saw me doing it, and he was like, "That shit's pretty smart." And I thought to myself, "Yeah, I am smart."
Got the moral of the story?
That's the moral. I am smart.
Smart guy. Alright, get your ass home.